Well, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Trash service is coming. That's always good. Birds are singing. Planes are flying overhead. The sun is shining. Everything looks normal. We're coming out of a tail end of a supposed pandemic called COVID-19. There's been riots, police killings, civilian killings. But by the looks of everything, it looks normal. But what's the but? The but is, does it seem like your life is getting unraveled? Does it seem like as you look around and you analyze your life and what has transpired in your lifetime, it seems like the whole world is gone mad? In fact, it reminds me of a Quaker proverb that says, the whole world has gone mad except me and thee, and I think thee is a bit strange. So it seems like around us, things are just getting unraveled, not only in our society, but maybe perhaps unraveling in our life. Our security, stability is being brought to the forefront. Stocks, savings, money, finances, unemployment, all those things that make life kind of fit nicely together, it's not so nice. There is problems. It's unraveling. One of my dear friends, Earl Brent, in fact, he was my vocal coach for years. And he worked at MGM for over 30 years with all the greats. He knew every movie star first name basis. He started when The Wizard of Oz was being filmed. He was Judy Garland's personal accompanist. He traveled around. He worked in the studio. He knew Clark Gable, everybody. You name the name of the old actors and actresses, he knew them. He tells me an amazing story about Lana Turner. And he told me that Lana Turner was considered by all her peers, actors, actresses, directors, so on and so forth, as a prima donna. In fact, she was so flamboyant, not only on screen but off screen, that she would dress up, wear jewelry, and always look her best. Flamboyant in everything that she did. It was almost show. And it drove her fellow peers oftentimes crazy. In fact, the studios, as she told me as he worked in the MGM sets, she would act up. And the actors sort of like, they had it in for her at one particular juncture in a movie she was filming with Ricardo Montalban called Latin Lover. There was a great dance scene. And they decided during the lunch break when they were offset that they would sneak into her wardrobe department to the dress that she was going to wear. And the little stinkers, they began to unstitch all the stitches that took to put this beautiful custom-made dress for her. And but they didn't do it in such a way that it would fall apart immediately. They wanted it in such a way that as the cameras were rolling and she was going through the scene, that the dress would just fall apart. And sure enough, it did, because when she came back, she put the dress on, everything looked normal. She had her petticoat, all the stuff underneath the dress. She was twirling and going around, take two, take three. And in one of those takes, lo and behold, her dress came unraveled. And having come unraveled, she was mortified and humiliated and ran off stage and said, "That's all you're getting of me today," knowing that the pranksters won the day and she was frustrated. So that's what happens to us in our life. We get frustrated of everything that takes place. It's coming undone. Well, welcome to life. Welcome to history. When you study history from its very beginning in ancient times to our present time, if you're a historian and you love history, you're going to see all kinds of manner of problems with people who have come undone. So God knows that. God knows, number one, we have personal undoing within our life. And number two, we have personal undoings in our culture. Look at every single culture that you can think of historically, and they've had riots, they've had killings, they've had financial setbacks, they've had disaster, they've had wars, they've had martyrdom. Anything that you can think of has happened in an unraveled world. It's a result of sin. Sin unravels us. So God has solved the problem. Problem is solved because Jesus paid the price of sin. So for us personally, we can walk in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee, as it tells us in Timothy. So we have a peace that passes all understanding. And we know from Philippians 4 that whatsoever things happen, God has a plan and a purpose, and He won't disappoint us and let us down. All things, according to Romans, will work together for good. So we can assure ourselves that God has a plan and a purpose for us personally. And as for the nation, we cannot take stock and bank on the things of this world. Stock markets crashing have proved that. Gold and silver, it tells us in Timothy, are going to become moth-eaten, whether then or in the future. We cannot count on those financial hedges with the world unraveling. So what we can count on God's faithfulness to us, that He loves us, has a plan for our life. And so I want to assure you that God loves you, cares for you, and if you've given your life to Christ in the midst of a world that's coming apart at the seams, God knows that. He hasn't forsaken. Take those things that seem to be falling apart, surrender them to the Lord, trust Him, and see what He can make of things that are falling apart. You will be surprised to see the glory of what God can do with His power and with His wonders to behold. Did He not say to Moses, Moses, why are you crying out to me with the Egyptian army coming down? Well, that's a crazy question. What do you expect to happen? But God had it in control. And He told Moses, Moses, lift up your rod. For I'm telling you today, this day you will no longer see the Egyptians. Stand fast and watch the salvation of the Lord. I leave you with this word to pause and ponder.